Hello, so today we are going to be talking about multiplying fractions. Our essential question is, how do I multiply fractions and mixed numbers? So we've already talked about working with positive and negative numbers, or we talked about integers. We're also going to be talking about that, dealing with fractions as well. So the first process that we're going to talk about is multiplying fractions. So this is just multiplying normal fractions, like proper fractions, so multiplying fractions. So when you multiply fractions, it's very simple. You just multiply straight across. So your numerator times your numerator, your denominator times your denominator. Straight across. So what this looks like is, let's say we have, for example, let's say we have 9/10 times 1/2. So let's say we have 9/10 times 1/2. We want to know what that equals. So you're just going to multiply straight across. So you're going to multiply the numerator times the numerator, the denominator times the denominator. 9 times 1 is 9. 10 times 2 is 20. Can't simplify that any further, so you just leave it alone. Another example would be 1/2 times 2/3. Same thing, straight across. And do notice that I used two different symbols. Remember, both of these means multiplication. 1 times 2 is 2. 2 times 3 is 6. And you can actually simplify 2/6 a little bit further. You can divide both the numerator and the denominator by 2 to get 1/3. All right, so that's multiplying fractions as if they were just normal fractions. Now we're going to talk about multiplying mixed numbers. It's a little bit different, very similar. It's just one extra little step that you have to take. So multiplying mixed numbers, similar processes, but just one piece different. So the first step is whichever number is the mixed number, that's what you have to first change it into an improper fraction. So what you should remember is the C effect. So first you're going to use the C effect to make improper fractions. And then multiply across just like you did above. All right, so same process, except now we're just adding a step. So our example that we are going to do here is 2 1/4 times 2 1/2. So let's say we have 2 1/4 times 2 1/2. So we're going to try two different problems. The first step, we need to use the C effect. So we're going to use C effect on both parts of the problem. So then we do 4, remember you multiply the denominator times the whole number, and then add the numerator. So you have 4 times 2 is 8, 8 plus 1 is 9. So 9 is your new numerator, and your denominator remains the same, 4. And then same thing here. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5. So then 5, and then your denominator stays the same. And then now you just have two fractions that you can just multiply across. So 9 times 5 is 45. And then 4 times 2 is 8. Remember, you can change it back to a mixed number. Figure out how many 8s are in 45, which there are 5. With 5 left over, so that's in our numerator, and our denominator stays the same. And then sometimes you will have where 1 is already a proper fraction. If 1 is already the proper fraction, then you don't have to change that one. You only have to change any number that's a mixed number. All right, so let's try the last piece is looking at multiplying positives and negative numbers. So same rules as when we were dealing with multiplying our integers. So if it's same sign, it's positive, different signs is negative. So if you have the same sign, and what I mean by same sign, positive and a positive or negative and a negative. Those are the same signs. So then that would get you a positive answer. If you have different signs, and what I mean by different signs, that's you have positive and negative or a negative and a positive. And that should get you a negative answer. So the same process as above. So if we have negative 1/4, we have negative 1/4 times positive 2/3. You just multiply across, but first you have to think, is it a positive or negative? So I have a negative times a positive. Those are different signs, so my answer should be negative. 1 times 2 is 2. 4 times 3 is 12. This simplifies. You divide 2 by both the numerator and denominator. This simplifies to 1/6, so negative 1/6. Same thing happens if we try negative 7/9 times negative 1 1/3. So now we're multiplying a fraction times a mixed number. So since we do have this mixed number, remember we need to do our C effect, multiply the denominator at the numerator. So negative 7/9 is already a proper fraction, so we just rewrite it. We don't have to change anything. It should stay negative 7/9. But then we have 3 times 1 and then plus 1. So that should give us 4. And remember, our denominator never changes, so 3. And then this was negative, so I need to make sure I rewrite my negative symbol. So now I know that a negative times a negative should give me a positive, so my answer should be positive. Now we're just going to multiply across. 7 times 4 is 28. 9 times 3 is 27. And then I can simplify this further. There's 127 within 28, so 1 and 1 remainder over 27. Final answer. So then to conclude, we just need to summarize. So our essential question was, how do I multiply fractions and mixed numbers? So the way that you do this is you multiply by multiplying straight across. And then if there's a mixed number, so if you have a mixed number, use the C effect to change the mixed number to an improper fraction first. So to conclude, you multiply by multiplying straight across if you just have normal proper fractions. And then if there's a mixed number, use the C effect to change the mixed number to an improper fraction first, and then you can multiply straight across. Otherwise, you are done. That's how you multiply fractions and mixed numbers.